How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my True FPS tutorial series, and today in this video I will show you how to do the turn in place mechanic. So what is turn in place? Basically, as you can see right now, when I turn the character, the whole mesh is turning at the same time, so it doesn't look very realistic. So with the turn in place mechanic, we're gonna separate the upper body and the lower body of the characters. So when I turn, the upper body will turn first, and then at the specific angle, the legs will also rotate with the character. Alright, so first thing first, we gotta import those 4 animations for the turn in place to our project. Alright, so once we got the animations imported, we're gonna save all and go to the animation blueprint. So in the ending graph, first we gotta separate the upper body of the character and the lower body. So I'm gonna delete this aim offset. Alright, so this is the ending graph to set up the turn in place. First you gotta create a new variable called root your offset. So I'm gonna do that now. Compile. So first we're gonna call the rotate root bone node, and then you can save the pose with the new save catch pose node here, and I will call it ground locomotion. And then we're gonna block the root yaw offset multiply by 1 to the yaw of the aim offset we created in the last episode, and we're gonna save the pose. So this is important. So with the layer plane per bone node, you can actually separate the upper body of the character with the lower body. And so here are the values, and be sure to take the mesh space rotation blend. Alright, so this node, we don't need this now, but in the future when we want to play the reload montage on fire montage, for example, we're gonna need it. So you just need to call the slot, default slot node, and then change it to upper slot, and we're good to go. And then we will save the pose and we will name it upper body. So the last thing we want to do is to blend between the ground locomotion above here and the upper body set pose, and then plug in the pitch input which we have created in the last episode, and then plug this to the output pose. Alright, so in the locomotion state machine and in the idle walk and run state, we're gonna create a new state machine, and I will call it idle, and then we're gonna cut those node and put it over here, and in here we're gonna have 2 state, one for the idle and one for the turn in place. So in the idle state, we're gonna paste our old blank space here, and we're gonna transition back from the turning place state to the idle state. So in the turning place state, we're gonna drag a turn left and turn right combat into the state, and then blend by bool. So if the yaw offset is less than 0, this animation will be played. Otherwise, the turn right 90 combat will be played. And then I will change blend time to 0.3. Alright, so my bad. Actually, this will be if the root yaw offset is greater than 0. I will block it here, compile. So the transition from idle to turning place, we're gonna check if the absolute value of the root yaw offset is greater than a float, which I will promote to a variable and called turn in place limit, and I will set the value to be 90. Alright, and the duration will be 0.3. So for the transition back to the idle post, we're gonna take the automatic rule, and the duration will be 0.2 grid. Well, actually I will change it to 0.3. And the state machine, I will rename it to idle and turn. Alright, so I think that's it for the onion graph. And now we're gonna go to the event graph and create a new function called turn in place setup, compile, and code it right after the aim offset setup. Okay, so for the variables, I will categorize them so it will be less messy. So this will be basic movements. So before we implement anything in the turn in place setup, I will implement a function to detect if the player is moving. So we're gonna drag the player reference and called a node get current acceleration and vector length. See if the vector length is greater than 0, and then block the output to the is accelerating variable. Alright, so I will arrange the node a little bit. So in the turn in place setup, this is all the code you need for the turn in place. So first up, we gotta calculate the yaw difference between two frames, and then we'll check if the player is moving or any montage is playing. If so, we're gonna disable the turn in place mechanic. Otherwise, we're gonna set the root yaw offset to be the sum of the root yaw offset and the yaw frame change. And then we're gonna check if the is turning curve reach the end. So in the turn in place animation, you can see there are actually three curves in one animation: the distance curve, the is turning curve. So when the is turning curve reach the end, we're gonna call the sequence node, and then this is all the math to calculate the root yaw offset. Alright, so let's test this out. So if I click play, you can see that the upper body and the lower body of the character is now separate. So if I turn about 90 degree, the turn in place animation will be played. Alright, so what is this? Set acceleration player. Okay, so I need to move this node before the acceleration stuff. Alright, compile and save. Alright, so right now it's 0, so if I turn, the value will decrease, and if it reaches negative 90, the character will turn. Alright. So after the turn in place animation is finished, the root yaw offset will be reset back to 0. So it is because in the turn in place animation we have a decent curve which value from negative 90 to 0. So at the end of the animation, the root yaw offset will be set back to 0 as the curve reaches 0. And it is a little bit snappy, so in the rotate root bone, you need to interp the result, and I will set it to I will set the interp speed to 6 and 6. It also okay, let's test this out first. So as you can see, the animations are really smooth. So as you can see, if I go to stimulation mode, you can see the character mesh is kind of stretched out. So so what you can do is to claim the result about negative 45 and 45, so the character can only rotate in this range. So if I hit play and go to the stimulation mode, so you can see the character is not stretched anymore. So this is good. Alright, so the last thing we want to do is to set up the turn in place animations for the crouch state. So in the locomotion, crowd walk, we're gonna, well actually I'm gonna go to the idle and turn state machine, and I will just copy it and paste it in the crouch walk, and I will rename it to crouch and turn. Cut those, and in the idle I will delete this old blank space and replace it with the crouch blank space. And in the turn in place, I will replace those two combat animations with the crouch animation. So here, alright. So let's test this out. So if I crouch and I turn, oh okay, so I paste it in the wrong state. So I will keep the blank space here and paste the state machine into the crouch state here. Connect it, and in the idle state, we're gonna plug in the crouch idle iron sight. So if I crouch, alright, so the animations are playing. Okay, so I think I will end this video here, and I will see you in the next one.